So you see, my goal is to try and connect from one note to the next note every time, being able to connect without a pause in between. And that's what I refer to as Frankensteining. Okay, if you think about the way Frankenstein walks and you got these feet doing this thing, sometimes when people play scales and things like that, what they do is they think that they're going to shift from one finger to the next finger, like by lifting one up. And you always have to remember, just think of it like you're walking. When you walk, one foot comes up and then it goes down, and then the other foot comes up and goes down. But there is a point where they're both down on the ground, and then the other one comes up. You don't do this. You don't do the Frankenstein. So the same thing is happening when you pick through these scales. As you're playing through this, you're not shifting the balance like that. You're leaving them both down for a point, and then the other one has to come off and get ready for the next note. So, for instance, on the 4th string, 5th fret right here, again in the key of A minor pentatonic, staying there for the whole course, that way everything makes sense. Now this guy's going to come off and get ready on the next string. And then this one's going to go down, and then this one's going to come off. Okay? So your first finger is really the one that has to be stable. It has to stay there until it's time to move. Because your third finger, your pinky or whatever, is the one coming down in front, right? So when I do, my goal is to time it so when that finger goes down, so does my pick. Okay? And it's after that finger is down, that's when this one's going to come off and move. So as I play through this scale, using all the other techniques we've been talking about, the goal is to try and make it sound very similar to a piano in that every note is simply connecting to the next note. So the listener isn't noticing that perhaps you're switching strings, right? You can't really tell because it's just this one long stream of sounds. Okay? So that's what Frankensteining is we're trying to avoid like lifting them up like that. Because a lot of times people will play something and then they're done with this string and they want to move to the next string and they lift them both up at the same time. Well, then you get a pause in there, which would be fine if you were looking for that pause. But if you're not, that's how you're going to get rid of it, is always think about walking your fingers. So if you've got your guitar handy, think about this. So you're on the 6th string, 5th fret, then you go into your pinky, and then you're lifting this up and getting it ready in place. And then you're picking it, and then down at the third finger goes, and you're lifting, putting it in the next place. Just walk through the whole thing. And practice going backwards as well, because obviously backwards is a little bit strange. Okay? Because what's happening there is, for instance, here my pinky is on the 1st string at the 8th fret, and I'm going to go to the 1st finger at the 5th fret. Well, again, I don't want to Frankenstein it backwards because it's too much of a variable that I could get wrong by just trying to shift the fingers. At just some point right before I'm going to leave that string, I'm going to get that 1st finger planted so it's ready to go. You see? So even as you get faster at being able to play, it's still happening. It's just happening at a faster succession, obviously, but it's still happening. The fingers are still walking. Okay? So that's why it's really important as you do this. For instance, if you take the technique of meandering that we've been talking about and you apply that, you're going to be thinking about this at a slower pace, how you can connect each string, each note as you move through this scale. You're going to connect them without Frankenstein, without lifting those fingers up.